Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to the Audio Theory Podcast featuring your host, Superfly. Got my co-host, Danny. Daybar is open on the other end. What's good, my dude?
What is good, man? Happy vibes, positive vibes only, man. We just, to be absolutely transparent, we just finished wrapping up our emergency episode to talk about Pop Smoke's death. So hopefully we have some more positive vibes and more, funny, light, warm shit to talk about in this episode.
For sure. What you been up to?
Chilling, man. Like, I'm really excited about just fucking dude, it's weird. Like, it's funny how we were complaining how long January was, and then fucking February is like done.
Oh
like,
god. And it's not even I mean, obviously February is a shorter month, but it's not that much shorter, and this shit just always fucking disappears.
And the irony is that they actually, like, this is a leap year, so February has more days, and it still feels like the quickest fucking, like, yo, it is just,
yeah.
Like, damn, it's already fucking February 20th tomorrow. What the fuck?
Yeah.
So that's annoying, but I have a couple trips lined up throughout the rest of the year, so I've been booking and playing that shit out. Got Vegas next month that I'm excited about, and then I got Cancun after that. So again, it sucks that the year's flying by, but again, you have some when you have some fun shit to look forward to. Thank God. I'm excited about that for sure.
Yeah.
How about you, man? Do you have any? I know you have Big Bear coming up this weekend. Any other trips you and the wifey or you and the family planning?
So I got 2 concert tickets, both artists that you kind of know about because I mentioned them to you. The first one is St. John.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but positive from you.
Yeah, he's I just realized he's actually, before he goes to Europe to tour, he's coming to LA March 22nd, I want to say. So my brother, who actually introduced me to him like a year or 2 ago, is gonna attend with me as well, and then I'm bringing wifey, so that should be a fun experience. Based on what I've seen, I guess the best way to describe it, he puts on like very good white boy shows. Like, he does the rock star shit, that mosh pits and all that stuff.
Nice.
I never really partake in any of that shit, but at least I know he's one of those entertainers that's not there to just lip sync and fucking be off and go home.
Yeah, you're gonna get your money's worth. He's putting on a show.
Yeah.
And what's actually you got lined up?
Yeah. Wait, sorry, what was that?
What's the second show you have lined up?
The second one is Jack Harlow. So he was one of my Heat of the Weeks a couple weeks ago. He's the white dude. His most popular song right now is What's Poppin'. It's been heating up the internet recently. So he's coming to LA May. And tickets are only like $20. So I know eventually it's gonna be, 100, 150 just to see these artists. So it's always nice when I discover someone who I like and they haven't blown up yet, and I can like easily go see a show and convince whoever to just cough up the $15 and go fucking me.
That's how I felt when I saw Post Malone the first time, not at like Rolling Loud. I was like, yo, it's $20, bro. Come on, let's go. Let's just go fucking see him.
Even Kendrick, and he had released his Section 80 mixtape. Pretty sure I told you this. Before he really blew up, even though that mixtape was gaining traction, the tickets were still only like $30 to see him. This fool was maybe 200 feet in front of me, 300. Now he's doing stadiums, or he's not doing shit because he's so fucking legendary.
Yeah, he's so rich.
So it's just wild being able to catch an artist at certain points and being able to experience that and then like see them blow up.
Nice. Yeah, I agree with that 100%, man. So I felt that way about Russ when I saw Russ after his first album. Like, literally discovered him on a fucking Sunday, and he happened to be in town in Miami the next week. I'm like, yep, I'm going by myself. $30, let's fucking ride. So, because you feel like you're more invested, man. Like, you're not like those fake people who just jump on because they have like that number 1 single on the fucking radio. It's like, nah, bro. Like, that's like my least favorite song. Like,
and the fans, I think the audience feels more authentic because they're there because they like him. Right. They're not there because my cousin's fucking sister-in-law said this person's dope and had an extra ticket or some shit.
Yeah. No, dude, it's gonna be, those would be dope for sure. Let me know how the St. John one goes, because I've heard a couple of songs since you told me about him a while ago, and he's fucking he's dope.
The crazy thing is, I went to school with these 2 twins. They're actually Jamaican, college, and they ended up being, I don't know if they're still his official tour DJ, but they DJ'd for him pretty much throughout the year of 2019, I want to say. And they're from New York, so I think somehow that connection was made. I believe Biggs, who helped started Rockefeller Records.
Yeah.
He's been behind the whole operation of St. John's career, so
that's definitely
clearly has someone super
yeah.
important making shit happen. The weird thing is, I will say, is I think they're trying to keep his like age under wraps because he's like, I believe, supposedly, allegedly, like 35 years old. But I guess from a marketing standpoint, it's kind of hard because once you pass 30, people are like, if you're not established, it's kind of
like, yeah,
your story's done, which is weird. But I think that's the only interesting thing I'm kind of looking out for is like, is that gonna hurt him, or is that hurting him right now?
But he's jacked though, right?
He's jacked. Like jacked doesn't like fucking
he's
like
great
beastly
shape, right?
Yeah, like this still has 1.4% body fat.
Yeah. So I think that's probably why he looks like it's probably believable if you tell me he's like 26, right? Because he just looks so fucking young. So
yeah. But anyways, I'll let you know how the concerts go when I actually attend.
The only concert I am currently looking forward to, I already got my boy to put his fucking tricks in, is the Justin Bieber concert in Miami, Florida. I think it's here in September. I was only gonna go because Jaden Smith was like his number 2 guy.
Okay, yeah.
I'm like, all right, that's gonna be dope. But then I'm like, I heard this fucking Justin Bieber album. I was like, yo, we going for Bieber. Fuck this.
I actually liked his album. Some people, I've heard, not only online critics say they didn't like it, but just people I know who are actually fans of him say they didn't like it. But I actually genuinely appreciated most of it.
I genuinely enjoyed most of it as well. So if we go back to a couple episodes, I brought up that I hope that it has like more somewhat content in the sense, like I don't want just like 17 love songs to Hailey Bieber, which I get, like that's your lane, stick to it. But again, I think I mentioned before that Bieber's been through so much, like bro, like let's give us some more depth and substance, and I think a couple of songs did that. So I was It was a very solid album from him for sure. Like again, you're probably gonna have a bunch of fucking radio hits from his album because, I mean, almost every song is like a single. You know what I mean? Like it could be one of like 7 different songs. So
yeah.
But I really think that Quavo song "Intentions" is a banger for me, and then that song with Post Malone and Clever, "Forever," bro, that is a radio hit waiting to happen.
Yeah. My favorite song is "Come Around Me," but it's not gonna be a radio hit because it doesn't have that vibe.
Yeah.
But I really like what he does on that track. He's just a really good singer. Like it's hard for him to miss, I feel like, because his voice it reminds me of Chris Brown sometimes. Even it's just very crisp and pretty much goes good with anything.
And then he has the best. I think Pooh Bear is his main writer. But bro, he has the best writers and producers. So like this shit's good. It's like, I don't want to say anything's unfloppable, but bro, this shit is close. Like, if it's gonna be a Bieber album, like this shit's probably not gonna flop. Like
it's gonna do well for sure. If it hasn't already.
It even has that same mass appeal where like, do you remember like 4 or 5 years ago, like every other Major Lazer song had like a Justin Bieber feature? It's like, bro, this guy can't fucking miss. Like if it's like an EDM song, it's like, as long as you have Bieber on the track, it's gonna be a fucking hit. So, definitely, I thought Changes was a very solid album. I was actually surprised myself how much I actually enjoyed it. Because I was ready to be like, it's gonna be trash, but it was solid.
You know what's weird? Oh no, I was just gonna say on that note, you know what's weird is it made me think of Justin Timberlake. Remember when he had that album Justified with Pharrell?
Mm-hmm.
When, like at that point, everyone was like, I guess
Pharrell and Timbaland. Like, it was
Pharrell and Timbaland.
Produced the entire album.
Yeah, I think that was one of the first moments where people saw that transition from pop to rap, and people were so, I guess, mesmerized by the fact that Justin Timberlake was like going this quote unquote urban route or hip hop route. But now it's like if Katy Perry or Justin Bieber or whatever does it, it's almost second nature. Like we don't really question it. It's almost like they're all integrated.
The Katy Perry one.
Okay, Katy Perry, yes. But Bieber, like,
like this does not
it's already sense. Like pop hip hop, and no one really finds it unusual. We just expect him to have music that has both elements. Or maybe it's because hip hop has become more pop. I don't know.
I think hip hop has definitely become more pop. I think there's always been, though, a hint of R&B to Bieber's approach that's kind of believable. You know what I mean? When he makes an R&B, like these R&B songs, he's fucking didn't Usher discover him?
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of believe it when Bieber does it, but yeah, I mean, Katy Perry did have a couple songs like Kanye that kind of slapped. Yeah, but the one with, I think where she lost is I think she went through an episode where she lost her mind for a little bit, and I think she was on stage with Migos and
oh god, that shit was terrible.
I was like,
that was the dumbest shit ever.
I was like, yeah, just stop with the faces, bro. Yeah, I thought Changes was a solid album. Again, I was pleasantly surprised. So kudos to the Bieber gang, and he's definitely going number one with this one. There's no fucking chance this shit is not going number one. So he'll finally be happy and shit. Any other music that stood out to you that came out? I know you enjoyed the Give No Fucks song with Migos and Travis.
Oh yeah, that song. When I heard it, I was like, okay, this is a hit to me. I don't know how the public will receive it, but given the star power in the song, it's gonna do well no matter what. I haven't really seen or heard people talking about it too much.
Yeah, I haven't heard a lot of buzz around it. Again, I feel that's probably the
lyrics,
the result. Well, I don't think that. I think it's a result of just a holiday weekend where you drop the song on a Friday, and then everyone who would talk about it is on vacation till Tuesday morning. Yeah. So it's like I don't think it's had time to bubble up. Yeah. But I agree with you. It's probably going to end up being a hit. I think that song will kind of grow on you. And Quavo on the hook is pretty contagious. People are going to remember that hook pretty clearly. So
I feel like there's no clean version for that though. What are you gonna really say in place of fuck? For Give No Fucks. Give a damn. It's.
No, I think you just mute that part out.
Yeah.
We don't give no. And then you just
gonna say no.
Yeah, we don't give no. That's all I can think about, bro. And then another album that dropped that it kind of segues nicely into another topic we have later on. Dude, the A Boogie album. This is a follow-up to his first album. The Artist is Artist 2.0. Bro, not impressed. Not impressed at all. I'm a big A Boogie fan. I thought his first album was literally a classic. I thought it was for not even just for a young and up and coming artist, just a rapper in general. It's a fucking perfect album. Artist 2.0 did not have any of that. That's why I kind of hate that he made this his follow-up album to a part 2 version. I'm bro, just if it was his own album, maybe it'd be a fair comparison, but you can't, if you're gonna compare this to that, it's not, you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't come correct. Yeah. There is one song that does fucking stand out though. I'm gonna give him his due credit. He has a song with Young Thug called Might Not Give Up. That song is fire.
Okay, I gotta hear that.
Fire. But Thug just carries that because Thug is a fucking lyrical genius. But yeah, so I think A Boogie kind of disappointed. So I would even say check it out, for you. But obviously, if you have some downtime on your way to Big Bear, maybe. But it's just funny because he just came out a couple weeks ago talking about people jacking his flows, and I was listening to shit bro, ain't nobody jacking this.
Wait, so is his flow different, or are you just yo, at this point,
it's not good.
Nobody's even tried to jack his shit.
Yeah, no one's trying to jack this shit. Bro, you can keep this. We'll jack somebody else, bro. But yeah, anything else that stood out to you as far as anything you heard over the past couple weekends?
I mean, it's my heat of the week. It wasn't an album or anything. I did come across some. It's always weird when you hear a song from an artist and you don't like it, and then for whatever reason you listen to it a month later and you think it's the best song they produced in a long time.
Bro, that happens to me with Drake songs all the time, bro. I don't know what it is about me. I don't know if I get so caught up in the beat, because his beats are never the normal hip hop beat, right? It's just I don't know, it's so melodic. They just go, they do different things in Canada. I don't know what the fuck's happening. But bro, then you hear that song 4 days later, you're yo, this is the greatest song Drake has ever come out with.
I think it's the mood you're in, because sometimes I'll hear some, let's say, like R&B emotional shit, and it's like Friday, I'm trying to have fun, I'm like, this is whack.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like in my feelings, just chilling, and like it'll happen to come on, and it just speaks to me in that moment, and I'm like, you feel like the artist wrote this specifically for you or people in that mood, and
100%.
then at that point you just have so much more respect for the song, so you're like, this is the greatest shit ever, because my life exists because of this song, basically.
Yeah. All right, so what was the song that you wanted to bring up that reminded you of that?
The one that reminded me of that was, I mean, it's really not that deep. It was a Jack Harlow song called "Walk in the Park." I only bring this up because I was at a hookah bar, actually, one that I used to frequent a lot, but since I moved, I don't go there nearly as often. And I looked at the video because I had just bought tickets to his show, and I was like, I didn't like this song before, but if he performed this, would I like it? Went to the video, and like, the song was fire, but when I first listened to it, I was like, fuck this shit, this is weak. And I think the vibe was super mellow, and I must have heard it at a point when I was like, yo, I need a banger.
You need a banger, yeah.
And the song was the opposite vibe to that, so I just had a different level of appreciation for it, and I was like, okay, this song is actually something I want to add to my playlist. So in that moment, I realized mood matters a whole lot.
Matters a whole lot, bro. So it's funny, like, so again, to bring up a Drake song, I remember when I first heard Drake "Money in the Grave" featuring Rick Ross, and I was like, it's alright. Like, I'm not, it's fine. And then, bro, I was out and heard that song like a month and a half later. I'm like, holy shit, bro! Like, this song is fire. And then everyone in the club knew like lyric for lyric. And I was just like, bro, how does he do this shit?
Yeah.
Like, he does this shit every fucking time.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, that Drake is the one for me. Like, yo, you hear a song, and like, I mean, at least for me, bro, at first I'm like, all right, it's all right. And then you just see everyone around you just constantly talking about it and listening to him. Like, all right, I gotta give it like another shot. And then you're just like blown the fuck away. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah.
So I know we kind of jumped into the music thing real quick. But something that came up, I know Snoop Dogg had an interview with Michael Rappaport about the whole Drake and Pusha T beef, and how, yes, Pusha T won the beef, which, I mean, I guess I agree with. I don't know. But Drake won the war because Drake was like, listen, bro, I'm not even going to challenge you back on this bullshit. I'm just going to come out with a banger, and like the entire world's going to love my shit more in 4 years. And he brought up like the song Kiki. I think it was a song like "In My Feelings" or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, bro, they're gonna be singing that song at he's talking to Pusha T now, Snoop Dogg. They're gonna be singing that song at your daughter's birthday in 4 years, and you just have to fucking sit there and take it, and you're worried about a fucking beef. I was like, yo, holy shit.
Yeah, I think that's true.
It's true though. It's true.
But I mean, like, you and I appreciate the art of hip hop, so deep down we still know Pusha T won that. I mean, the average Drake fan or casual Drake fan who just likes bangers and wants that, they don't give a fuck about battle rap and shit. So of course they're never gonna pay any mind to Pusha T. But
right,
if you actually just are immersed in hip hop culture, part of you is always gonna remember the fact that Pusha T technically won that battle. And I don't think "In My Feelings" or any pop hit is relevant to that battle, like, or is even considered winning the war, because that's what Drake does regardless of who's challenging him. He's gonna make hits. So I don't think Drake was like, let me produce this track and it'll shut Pusha T up. I think he's just like, let me ignore Pusha T and just do what I already do.
Well, I think I do. So I agree with you most of the points you made. I do think though, in making that song "In My Feelings," that the Kiki references are like 98% sure about Kim Kardashian. So maybe in his mind, he's like, bro, like, I'm gonna fucking like make a song about your best friend's wife. That's gonna be a banger, and like you're all gonna be singing this shit and not know fully well that I'm talking about, like, I smashed at some point, right? Like, that's just how I think that's like the way the evil mind of Drake works. But yeah, I agree with you, and every hip hop purist would agree that Drake lost that battle. But again, I don't disagree with Snoop Dogg completely, where he's like, I do agree with him where he's like, Drake may have won the war in the sense that, bro, like, no one's talking about Pusha T music right now. You know what I mean? Like, if you think about it, like, when 50 Cent and Ja Rule had that beef, like, Ja Rule's clapback was a dope fucking response, but then no one wanted to hear Ja Rule after that, right?
Yeah.
So 50 won the longevity of it because, like, 50 Cent fucking bodied them on a couple things and, like, just kept producing hit after hit after hit. So, I don't know. I kind of agree with Snoop Dogg on that sense where, like, dude, Drake is the one that's producing music that's, like, long lasting after that. Like, I don't, even when we went to Coachella, bro, we saw Pusha T set, like, I feel like we were just there to be there. It wasn't like, yo, we have to go see this shit.
Yeah, like, yo, this dude's gonna, I don't know, change the scene or do some Drake related shit, like Summer Jam, and have him.
Honestly, I think we went there for that. Like, yo, he may just do like the blackface of Drake or something. Like, I don't know, but I know it was just a funny topic to me, so I figured I'd bring it up because, again, I think Pusha T is still super relevant. You know, like behind the scenes and, you know, like Adidas and shit. But as far as hip hop, bro, like, he drops a song tomorrow, I'm not stopping anything to check it out.
Yeah.
Dude, Drake drops a fucking 2-hour video on Rap Radar YouTube, I'm fucking stopping my whole weekend to watch that shit. Like,
yeah. No, that was a fun little detour from all the other shit he's doing. Granted, it was probably curated before he even said a word on camera. Like, yo, you better not ask me this. I'm probably gonna say this if they ask me this. He knew they were gonna ask about Pusha T, so he definitely rehearsed all that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like those guys have too much respect. Like, and I mean, Rap Radar is like on Tidal, right? So they fucking work for Jay-Z. So there's no way they would fucking like
challenge him and be like, "Yo, you got fucking sunned by Pusha T."
Yeah, they were definitely gonna always ask it, but obviously ask it in a way where it's almost like a layup question. Like, bro, they just like talk about it.
Yeah.
So again, that was just a dope topic at hand. But again, let's talk about some other things here. We jumped into the music pretty quickly. As far as what we listened to, what we liked, and what we didn't like. Oh shit! Another song that did actually stand out on the A Boogie album, The Baby has a song called "Stain" on it, featuring The Baby. So again, he has 2 or 3 songs that are okay, but it's I don't know. Just for me, it's not it. But what's crazy, man? What I hate about these fucking stands is that, bro, like, if you go to Apple Music Top 100, it's like the top 50 are all A Boogie. I'm like, bro, like, fuck you guys, bro. Like, I don't want to hear this shit. Like, it's not good. Stop fucking streaming this shit and killing the numbers because, like, yo, it's not good. But, I mean, that's just how fucking these platforms work now. But we're going to call this one episode 19, Lose Yourself. Because I know we both had some interesting takes on when Eminem performed at the Oscars now 2 weeks ago. So for those who don't know, Eminem performed at the Oscars, even though he didn't have a song nominated. I believe he won an Oscar like 20 years ago for 8 Mile, but it was just super awkward. He performed Lose Yourself from 8 Mile soundtrack. Great song, probably like one of the greatest hip hop songs, just talking about being a rapper, right? Like that's probably one of the fucking most epic songs ever. But it was fucking super awkward. It was Eminem rapping like Eminem of 2020 to a song that he made back in 2005 or 6. So that it just felt weird from that point of view. And then what made it like the cherry on the fucking cake was everyone's fucking face when he came out was just like, what the fuck is he doing? So it made me feel good about us saying like, bro, like, tell him to stop, because like I feel like that's what we've been saying for the past like 4 or 5 weeks. And then just seeing everyone's reaction to him live was just like, bro, like, stop it.
Yeah. I mean, we've already kind of alluded to this before, but I think more recently it's been hard to take him seriously as an artist, just because a lot of the stuff he's produced was kind of, you know, parody type music or jokes. You never really got a sense of his struggles and all that. And Lose Yourself is like one of the few songs I could think of where you're like, okay, I understand what this guy's going through. Same as that one song, I Am, I think. That's one of my favorite Eminem songs because it feels raw and he's just fucking telling it like it is. The Stand song, like, I think all those true Eminem fans really appreciate, but like all the other shit, like the song he did with Akon and stuff like that, like I don't think that really does much for him, or even the pop Rihanna songs that that kind of are just random and don't necessarily pertain to what he's going through as an individual. So people are probably like, I think it just makes it really confusing trying to gauge what you expect from him. It's like he'll be serious one moment and then talk about like eloping with fucking, you know, two gay dudes or some shit.
Yeah, or whatever. Like it's like randomness. It's like, bro, why? Let's talk about Mariah Carey, bro. Like,
and Mariah Carey. That's super old news. I forgot she existed until every Christmas. I'm like, oh, she's actually filthy rich off this shit.
Oh my god, bro. The fact the song went number 1 24 years after going number 1, I'm like, bro, fuck this world. Like, like fuck the world we live in right now, bro.
Damn. That's the original Old Town Road. Like that shit just won't go away ever. That
song's never going away.
Yeah.
Like clockwork. Like it's like when Michael Bublé comes out of his grave for Christmas. Like that's exactly the same fucking thing. Yeah. But dude, I think we mentioned this, but again, I know we didn't. It wasn't online, so let's talk about it now. But I think the beef that you and I have with Eminem is that we don't see evolution, right? It's just, this is who I am, take it or leave it. And again, fair to him, maybe that is how it should be, but it's like, bro, like, there's no way you're going to be reaching me on the same way you reached me 15 years ago when I'm not the same person, right? Like, I feel like he's not taking into account that his hardcore fans, maybe not hardcore fans, I feel like his hardcore fans actually still love him.
Yeah.
But the fans he had back then, which was literally like 15 fucking years ago, dude, they're fucking young adults now, bro. Fucking worried about mortgages and student loan payments and like real life shit. Like, bro, we're not going to relate to the same shit you're talking about when, like, if we did, we would be living a completely fucking different lifestyle, bro. Like, if I thought, like, all right, you know what? My mom's annoying me. Let me go fucking kill her and shove her in the fucking backyard. And, you know what I mean? Like, that's not okay. But when you're like an impressionist kid, like you're not even thinking about what you're listening to. It's like, oh, that's funny, ha ha ha. And he makes it rhyme, and it's a cool beat, and he makes a weird voice. It's like, okay, fine. But I feel like he's still trying to talk to us the same way he did 16 years ago. And again, if you're not a fucking stan, that shit just does not resonate whatsoever.
Yeah, for sure. And I think at least from what I've seen, like, people who are fans of Eminem are like, oh, your new school rappers don't say this and that. And yeah, I agree. The new school rappers lyrically aren't offering a whole lot, but what they're failing to realize is these new school rappers a lot of times are introducing like a new personality or story to it. Even if the story's not like this deep, complex, you know, life-changing thing, it's still new. Whereas with Eminem, it's like, yeah, you're fucking killing this verse, or even Nas, but it's like, what are you fucking doing differently that's gonna make me want to tune in for 40 years straight, or whatever the case may be?
Yeah, that's a good point you bring up Nas, bro, because Nas, man, like, think about it, like, when Kanye had that whole Good Summer in 2018, bro, like, Nas' album was the weakest link in that rollout.
Yeah.
And dude, this is the first time he's had primo production, because I feel like Nas got in a pass because he dropped like 2 or 3 classic albums, but never had the production quality that other artists had, right? And that might be his fault. Maybe he doesn't have an ear for beats, that he can't pick the right beat for his flow. But dude, you had peak Kanye, well, not peak Kanye, but Kanye making fucking phenomenal production, and you still never really delivered, bro. Because I feel like that Nas album was a throwaway.
Yeah.
I really think out of all the albums that came out, the Pusha T one, the Kid See Ghost, Ye, Tiana Taylor, and Nas, bro, the only ones that stand out to me are Pusha T and Kid See Ghost. Even the Kanye album was a fucking throwaway.
Yeah. I don't remember shit from that one.
Nothing, bro. Like, yeah, dude, like, absolutely a waste of my time with this shit. But I think, yeah, Nas is also someone who, again, he's loved, bro. So I think, and I guess with Nas is more humble. He doesn't come across so he thinks he's the greatest rapper alive right now. Whereas I think the delusion that we also see is that Eminem probably still believes that. And we're like, bro, no, like, not at all. Like,
yeah, that's the thing. I feel like we're low-key trying to humble him.
Yeah.
Whereas Nas, it's like, he's just trying to do what his career is based on, but
yeah, he's like a rapper's rapper. Like, bro, I'm gonna rap, and like, I'm gonna, have great metaphors, and you're gonna probably understand it if you're slightly older or whatever the case may be, but not trying to like push anything on you. Yeah. Whereas I think with Eminem, it's just like, bro, like, please stop. Like, this is getting too much. Yeah. And again, I felt justified when I saw everyone's reaction at the Oscars. Like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Like, usually, like, if that happens, like a surprise guest, and it's like of that caliber, people are fucking out of their fucking seats, losing their mind. Like, oh my god, we're so lucky to see this. And everyone's just like
yeah. I mean, I saw all those memes, but in my mind, I'm like, is this taken out of context? Like, are they just catching Billie Eilish looking at some fucking dude who farted, or did Eminem really come out and like cause all this confusion? And now that I realize it, like, I don't recall him being on like just a generic ass like New York boom bap beat and like killing it and shocking people or making waves with that.
Yeah. No.
It's always just like fast, like Tech 9 type shit, where the goal is just to spit as many syllables and words in a row, but like none of it has to make any sense.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. So that's why we entitled this episode "Lose Yourself," because I feel like, I mean, that was just a funny moment in hip hop culture where we were just like, you would think if a hip hop act was performing at the Oscars, it'd be, groundbreaking material, and it was just like, bro, like, this is not a good look for us right now.
Yeah.
But I know there's a couple of things we wanted to get into before we did, because I know we've been recording for a while now. But bro, I took this kind of, not personally, but it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Gayle King, which is like Oprah's homegirl, was interviewing Lisa Leslie, which is like a WNBA superstar, retired WNBA superstar, but was like best friends with Kobe, and started like asking her a couple questions about Kobe. And then one of the clips they posted on CBS, I think, was like, how do you feel about Kobe and the rape case? And then she kind of like Lisa Leslie tried to like, remove herself from that situation, say, hey, like, he was acquitted, like, let's, it definitely doesn't taint his legacy. And then Gayle like followed up with like, yeah, but he was only acquitted because of this. And it's like, yo, what are you doing? Yeah. Did you have a chance to see that clip? And if you did, like, what was your reaction to it? And like, what was the temperature of the room of like, LA, for example?
I mean, I think LA definitely hated it, or just any fan of Kobe hated it. I didn't have a chance to see the clip, but I definitely saw the articles. My first reaction, or just having time to soak it in, was, I mean, I feel like as an interviewer or journalist, like, inevitably you're gonna have to ask the tough questions that people don't feel like answering. So I don't want to completely write her off and be like, oh, this fucking bitch, like, how dare she?
Like Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, like Snoop Dogg. And actually, the funny thing is, what's his name? Trey D from the East Siders, Snoop Dogg's like little side group that he had way back when. He's a part of the same clique as Snoop, but he basically echoed the same ideas that, as a journalist, you shouldn't necessarily crucify them, because their job is to kind
ask tough questions.
Yeah, dig those sorts of answers out. But at the same time, I feel like timing and the way you present it is important. I don't know like how late in the interview it was, like if she sat down like, all right, let's get into this rape shit, like as soon as they
it was like midway, according to like the timing of it. But I mean, the one reason why I agree with Snoop and everyone who's so outraged by this, dude, that rape thing happened 12 years ago.
Yeah, and the case was dismissed.
I think he's still out of court, whatever the case may be, though. You had Kobe alive for 12 years to discuss that, and this was never an issue. Mm-hmm. So I don't understand why you feel it's appropriate to ask someone who wasn't involved with that, besides just being friends with this guy, how do you think this, you know what I mean? Like, that's like, God forbid one of us passed away and like, oh, hey, I know you're super sad right now, but your best friend like really was a dick like 17 years ago. How do you feel about that?
Yeah.
It's like, well, what?
I mean, I think it's like in this day and age, it's kind of the looming thing. Like, people don't want to forgive your past, or I think in his case, it's maybe just the fact that so many people brought it up that she felt the need to address it. Otherwise, people would bash her for not being an authentic journalist. But I mean, I think in this case, I would need to understand what the objective was, because to your point, or to everyone's point, really, like, this case was dismissed. He wasn't found guilty. So what are you trying to get at? If you're like, oh, does rape sound bad to you, or like?
Yeah, like, is it just clickbait to, like, you know what I mean? But I mean, she's gotten a lot of backlash. I guess the second part to the story with like a lot of the, I mean, not only just say hip hop community, but like a lot of the powerful black men are speaking up more, is because Oprah and Gayle kind of just seem to be willing to back white guys who've been, you know, proven to be the worst of fucking sexual predators. And then, like, for example, Epstein, there's tons of pictures with Oprah with him hanging out, and apparently all this, not Epstein, sorry, fuck am I thinking, not Epstein, what's his name?
Harvey Weinstein,
sorry, Harvey Weinstein, like a bunch of pictures of them together. Apparently this Weinstein shit has not been a secret in the industry for 20 years, and you willingly knew this, and you were still posted up next to him like, yo, this guy's the great producer, blah blah blah, and then you're willing to crucify Russell Simmons, who had the Me Too things against him, and then you wanted to fucking bring up an awkwardness about Kobe Bryant, I think at the time 3.5 or 3 weeks after his passing. Like, they haven't even buried him yet. He's still, like, they're not going to bury him until the end of February. Like, so why? I don't know. It just seems that, like, Gayle and Oprah get to the public. I don't know if I support this completely, but it's like, hey, we're willing to give the white guy a second chance, and then these black artists or black entrepreneurs have to be perfect, or we're gonna fucking kill them. And I just feel like, as people who are, again, you're also an African American, these are people who look like you, you know, why wouldn't you be on the side of giving, if you're gonna give anyone a second chance, why not them?
Yeah, I mean, I would say regardless of who commits heinous crimes, like, I don't care if you're literally my blood brother, if you do something wild that goes against my morals, like, fuck you, if it's that serious. But the reason why I haven't paid too much attention to it is just because I don't see the trend, that enough data to be like, okay, this is clearly a trend. Like, obviously it's easy to be like, yo, she said this shit about 2 people, but not this one guy. I don't know if that's enough to be like, okay, this person's clearly biased and picking and choosing. It's just, I think it's easy to draw that conclusion if you want to do it, but it's not like she's going down a list of 50 black celebrities and then completely ignoring all white ones. I think
that's a good
it's
point.
just kind of convenient.
That's just like with the oversaturation of what everyone is saying is like that, right? Like, it's like, hey, Oprah hates black people, which obviously is not the case, but I just feel like for Gayle King in this situation, it's just bad timing.
For sure.
I think you let the mourning settle. Like, I think people are still very sad about the situation. I think they're going to be very sad for a while. I mean, the NBA All-Star game was just this past weekend, and the entire time if you didn't think about Kobe every second, then you didn't watch the game. You know what I mean? Like, everything was about Kobe. So I just think it was just poor timing. And then again, the full interview never came out just yet, but in the context of the way it was explained by Gayle herself, it just didn't make sense. Like, it just felt like that question did not need to be asked. And even when you asked at the initial time, the way she followed up so aggressively saying, no, but this is why it happened. Now, how do you feel about it? It's like, bitch, like, I just told you, like, it doesn't affect the legacy. Why are you asking me again? Like,
that's what I noticed with some interviewers is they'll ask obvious shit, and I'm just like, what the fuck do you think the person's gonna respond? Like, there'll be a school shooting, and like the teacher who witnessed fucking 40 of his students died, they'll put the mic up to his mouth and be like, how did it make you feel when Johnny had his brains blasted out in front of you? And it's like, bitch, are you gonna ask this question and really expect a different answer than what you already know he's gonna say? So half the time I don't understand why they ask these questions. Obviously it's for the viewers to like just hear the person say it, but to me it's just lazy journalism, I guess.
Yeah, and that's maybe what it was, man. Or maybe in the back of her mind she knew she had a reaction out of the viewing audience, but didn't think that her network would lead with that and like kind of like screw her over. But I thought it was a interesting topic at hand, because everyone is still, especially in LA, still mourning Kobe. So for that to come up so quickly was kind of weird. And then I guess something else that just popped up today, not to get too deep in it, but just I guess in the speaking about interviews, it kind of like coincides what we do as well. Kalani had an issue that Joe Budden's on the Joe Budden's podcast with him and his partners talking about like they think she's great, but they don't really care for her new album. It sounds like anyone else. I just obviously critiquing, like you and I critique. We just critique Eminem. We critique because obviously we're observing the culture, and I think we give it its due, respect, but we also can't critique it. And then she went online and fucking destroyed Joe Budden's and like assassinated his character. And then he responded saying, "Am I meant to be everyone's fucking friend? Like, like what do you expect from me?" So
yeah,
what is your take when like, people like us in like focusing on commenting on the culture make a comment that the artists don't like? Like, is it fair for the artist to fire back? Like, how do you think the dynamic should go down?
I think it's fair just because freedom of speech is fair, and the only reason why Kalani probably cares if Joe Budden says it as opposed to you and I, at least right now.
Joe Budden is that.
Yeah. So she knows, like, anytime someone with influence says something you disagree with, or it's true, but you just don't want other people to soak it up too much, you're gonna get pissed off and be like, "Yo, what the fuck, bro? Like, why are you clowning my album?" Even though deep down you might be like, "Oh, it's not my best work." The fact that one of the biggest music critics ever says some shit knows that's gonna skew how everyone else perceives you. And nowadays, if like one person just with the Russ thing, like at a certain point people just said Russ sucked because other people said Russ sucked.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure half the people who were giving Russ L's had never even heard a song from him before. So I understand why she would get pissed off, but at the same time, it's just literally one opinion. So hopefully artists and whoever don't take those opinions too strongly and give it too much importance, because at the end of the day, like, you have millions of fans who love your shit. So just remember that, because every time I go to an artist's page or anyone's page, there's millions of comments that are like, "I fucking love you, marry me today," and then it's the one comment that's like, "Fuck you," that they respond to.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's a great point you made about who it's coming from. I guess probably that's why all these companies spend millions of dollars on a monthly based on influencers, because obviously these influencers like push their opinion onto everybody. So obviously Joe Budden's literally being the #1 podcast on all of Spotify has a massive fucking influence, right? So if he says something is good or bad, a lot of people take that fucking gold and like, all right, I guess I'm not fucking listening to Kalani anymore. So I get that, but then how do you think it makes her look in responding though? Or the artist, when the artist responds, do you think it looks like petty?
Unfortunately, it makes them look bitter.
Thin skin, sorry?
Yeah, I think it makes them look bitter, regardless of whether they're in the right or not. Because if you respond, just back to when you were little and your parents said, "Yo, if Johnny says you have a big ass head, just don't respond because ignoring them is gonna make them angry." So
yeah.
And if you respond, it got to you. So I think, unfortunately, it makes her look petty or bothered, or like she believes what he's saying.
Yeah, that's what I feel like it came across. Like, yeah, exactly. It looks like just like, dude, like if you think you're gonna come out with a perfect body of work that everyone's gonna love, you're fucking delusional.
Yeah.
And the weird thing was that he gave her so much credit leading up to that moment of criticism. If you hear the clip, it's just like, "I love her. She's a great girl, great music, just not feeling this song." And and that turned into like absolute fucking like bashing of like, he's commenting on her suicide. I'm like, yo, I didn't hear that, but like, all right, I guess like, that's what you want to say.
That would be going too far, in my opinion.
I from what I heard the clip, I didn't hear that. But yeah, maybe I missed something that was like a little bit subtle. But again, I just feel like any artist, be it or music, sports, like, dude, someone is not like, you're not gonna please everyone, and I feel like that's what you kind of need to go into understanding. But I guess it kind of like works back to the whole psyche of like, we live in a society where like likes matter, quote unquote. So like, if that means that one less person giving you a like, you probably feel like, damn, I'm fucking failing and like I'm not doing a good job. So again, not to talk about that, but someone who maybe has insecurities, like Kalani, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, but like there've been reports that she has had like certain like, you know, depression as a high. So maybe giving her negative feedback, she just takes it a different way than another artist, probably.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, like if someone, for instance, commented and was like, Yo, Audio Theory's trash, worst podcast ever. I wouldn't give a fuck.
Blocked.
I would block his ass, but I wouldn't give a fuck. I would just be like, yo, you're fucking up the algorithm and other people's perception. But if Nicki Minaj, well, actually, she hates everything. But if Joe Biden was like, and we were on and popping, and it was like, yo, this is one of the worst platforms ever. Fuck it. I would get pissed because I'm like, you're influencing, you're taking money out of our pockets potentially.
Literally.
At that point, it's like, it's not a matter of opinion. It's like, you might be fucking up my bag with this deal I'm gonna make with Spotify or some shit, which is what they. But at that point, I think it becomes more than just likes. If someone with that level of influence is trying to state their opinion publicly.
But then it's also like when Joe Budden is securing bags for being that guy.
Yeah. Then it's like you do.
What do you do? Like, you can't fucking win.
Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate his response. So, like, he's like, yo, like, you guys think I'm your friends. I'm not. So, like, like, you got to respect that. I feel like there are certain radio stations when you go on, like, for example, like Zane Lowe, love him to death, but he doesn't have a bad thing to say about anyone's album, bro. Like, any album review he has, greatest album of all time. I'm like, bro, come on. You got to give him, like, something like, yo, I didn't really... explain to me what were you going through with this track because I feel like it's different. I'm like, dude, say something negative, bro. Like, it can't be always amazing.
I think Joe Rogan kind of perfects the art of critiquing someone but not pissing them off. Because I guess it's like what you could call a shit sandwich. Like, he'll go in and be like, I like this, but this part confuses me or bothers me. But at the same time, I see why you went this route, or I love the fact that you do this. So, like, when you hear it, it's hard to get, if someone's critiquing you in that way, it's hard to get mad. As opposed to, like, I feel like rappers or whoever are accustomed
if it says just comparing Joe Rogan and Joe Budden, Joe Budden's very fucking direct and probably wants to hurt your feeling just to get, like, a little smirk off. But, like, I get what you're saying. But, I definitely, I didn't think about the whole, like, money situation. Like, I mean, Kalani's pretty popular, but I don't know if she's, like, killing it right now. So she's probably like, yo, you're fucking up my money right now. Like, what the fuck are you doing? So
he better hope she doesn't send a YG on his ass.
Yo, he actually made a comment and said, Joe Budden, he made a comment like, yo, like, all these songs are about YG, but she won't say his name.
The funny thing is I think YG's baby mama looks identical to Kehlani. She's like a light-skinned chick that's all tatted up.
Really?
It clearly has a type.
Bro, speaking of light-skinned chicks, she's not tatted up, but oh my god, I started following. I didn't start following, but something popped up where, like, Doja Cat's, like, Instagram feed popped up. I was like, yo, I did not realize how fine she was, bro.
Oh no, my brother sent me her page. I was like,
oh my god.
I mean, granted, it was like Photoshopped like a motherfucker, but at the same time, bro. Yeah, she's like Tinashe, but way thicker.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit! Like, it just made her whole, like, album, like, sexier. I was like, let me go put that shit back.
Yeah, that song with Tyga actually, like.
Oh yeah, that's a club banger.
Some shit.
Yeah, that's a club banger. That's a club banger for sure. All right, man. Before we dip, we hit a lot of stuff tonight. What's your heat of the week? What are you looking forward to this week?
So a song, I believe it came out a couple weeks ago. It's by that dude I showed you on the way back from Coachella, who sounds like The Weeknd. This Asian dude from Canada. His name is Anders. And he released a song called On Me. It's similar to any other, like, I guess, weekend type of club banger that you might have heard before. I hate to, like, box him into that, but I mean, the resemblance is just too clear for you to not say that. But the song's really, really dope. So is the music video. I'm not sure how or if he'll blow up. Apparently he can't, like, come to the US because of charges, but
Jesus.
He's one of the artists.
Call Drake.
Drake will make it happen somehow.
Yeah, Drake will make anything happen.
But he's one of the few artists that I've been looking for tour dates so I can, like, get in on these cheap shows while these artists aren't popping. But he's not doing shit, like, as far as tours go.
Okay.
But
so
the song's Anders, and the song is called On Me. I'll check out the music video on YouTube if you guys get a chance.
Okay. All right, and there's On Me. I'll keep that. And then for me, man, it's gonna honestly be just because we're on the subject for a while. It's gonna be, I want to say, "Sweetheart" by Pop Smoke featuring Fivio Foreign. It's on the Meet the Woo 2 album. Just like a super dope song. All the things you like about Pop Smoke come out in that song. It's like a classic current drill New York movement on that one track. So "Sweetheart" by Pop Smoke. Rest in peace to Pop Smoke. And bro, something we didn't talk about in the last episode, so I'll bring it up now. Dude, what's crazy is how similar him and 50 Cent are, bro. Or I guess now were.
Oh shit! Now that I was like, he sounds like someone.
Bro, so apparently, he looked up to 50 Cent like crazy growing up. And then they had that same like raspy fucking voice. Mm-hmm. And then he talks about
like the mumble kind of thing too.
The mumble, but it's perfectly clear, but then it's so fucking deep, like that thing. And he said, I used to mimic 50 Cent like coming up, like I wanted to be just like him. And then apparently 50 Cent took him under his arm. And like 50 has an interview where he's like, he's like he's the current 50 Cent. Like I can't. But dude, what's crazy and what's sad is that also in the interview with Angie Martinez is that 50 Cent says like, bro, I had to tell him, you don't have to have all your boys with you that have guns. Like it's not, don't fucking live in that lifestyle anymore, blah, blah, blah. So that's kind of sad. But it was funny to me because I was like, when I first heard Pop Smoke, I'm like, who the fuck does he remind me of? Uh-huh. And then once I hear 50 Cent talking, I'm like, bro, that's what I've been fucking listening to, bro. Uh-huh. I'm like, it reminds me of fucking someone, but I couldn't figure it out because obviously, I can't think of 50's music because he hasn't had like hits in the past like 5 or 6 years. So, but yeah, Pop Smoke, and there's like even like it's weird, bro. There's like a side by side picture of like 50 Cent giving him a dap, and like it's just the side of Pop Smoke's face. And it looks as if it's like 50 Cent's son. Like, bro, it's fucking like eerie, bro. So, yeah, definitely rest in peace to Pop Smoke. But it was crazy how like I didn't even know about that friendship, and it makes so much sense because like, if you just compare like their mannerisms and how they even talk, it's like, bro, this guy is like a mini me of 50 Cent, which is crazy.
What is the Woo?
The Woo, I just think it's like a movement in Brooklyn, just like.
I thought it was like, I don't know, some gang shit, but I guess it's just a movement.
I thought it was like a movement, like the Woo movement. Like I know they just throw up that shit, but I don't know. But yeah, everything he had a Woo chain. So long live the Woo, man. Yeah, super sad. Damn, I also it just sucks. We're not gonna have like enough content, bro. Like whereas like like the Mac Millers, we have fucking 8 albums of Mac Miller. XXX, he gave us like almost like 6 albums. Nipsey, we have a ton of fucking mixtapes. Apparently Juice WRLD had like 100 songs unreleased. Again, I hope this guy was in the fucking booth forever, but again, for someone who just started rapping 2 years ago, unfortunately the world is gonna be fucking, denied again a fucking, the potential to hear great music, which kind of sucks.
For sure. I mean, on that note, we can save another episode for this, but apparently Jay Electronica is gonna release some new music with Jay-Z or something.
Bro, you've been teasing this shit for like 8 years.
I know, but it just boggles my mind that someone who hasn't released pretty much anything has this much hype. Like he has legendary hype behind him, almost to the level like Biggie or some shit, and he hasn't really done anything to get it. So I don't understand that.
Nah, bro.
Other than raw talent, I don't understand like where it's coming from.
Didn't he diss Drake back then?
He may have. But I just remember the first mixtape that came out, my brothers were fucking losing their minds. They're like, yo, this guy's like the missing link between fucking the new school era and like Biggie or some shit.
Yeah. But I read that as well. I think Charlamagne the God had like a long ass post. It's like, bro, I don't know who's fucking teasing me right now, but we need this. I was like, do we though? Yeah. Like it's been 8 years of like nonstop. I guess the reason why I'm not crazy about it is because I guess my hype is not built up. I think because when he came out, I was still living in India, so I wasn't exposed to shit like on a daily, weekly basis, like the hype. Yeah. So I guess it was like, all right, this guy has a couple cool songs, and like, what's the big deal? Yeah. But I know a lot of people are super excited about this shit to drop. So hey, maybe that's a good thing, man. Because I feel like 2020, this is a weird fucking year, bro. I know we both had high hopes for this fucking year. I'm like, bro, let's wrap this shit up already, bro.
I know, there's just been not even 2 months in, and I feel like everything's happened.
Bro, fucking everyone's dying from coronavirus. Fucking any black celebrity fucking not making it out alive. I'm like, bro, let's fucking wrap this shit up.
It's crazy.
Man, bye, brother. Appreciate you. Episode 19, the books. Lose yourself. As always, tell a friend to tell a friend. Subscribe, like, comment, and if you don't like your comments, we'll block your ass.
Yep, we will. Test us. Try it.
Peace, bro.
Peace.